the FIA is banning what I'm going to call it qualifying mode, but it is essentially turning each team has the ability to turn up their engine essentially to the max to be able to set a good qualifying lap.
Party mode?
Yes, party mode, quality mode. That's what Mercedes had called it. Actually, did Mercedes call it?
Yeah, it was Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah, because he was having a party on the track. But after this...
That was 2018.
Yeah, after the Spanish Grand Prix, it's going to be banned, no longer allowed. Ruben, what do you think this means in terms of anything for the whole grid?
Listen, this is not going to affect Mercedes that much. Might affect the other teams that are doing bad, which, there's a little small chance they have to soup up the engine and try to be somewhere near Mercedes, but I don't think it's going to matter much to Mercedes. To the other teams, maybe, because, like I like Williams that's been in the Q2 and, the last couple of races, they might not be there anymore.
You don't think that it'll bring the field a little bit closer in qualifying?
Nah.
Why not?
The backfield, yeah, not the front.
It'll bring the field closer, in my opinion. It'll bring Mercedes back to the pack a little bit. I don't think that it's going to make much of a difference with the other teams. My issue, I think, actually, let me take that back. It may make a difference with one team, and that's Racing Point. We don't know their ability to turn up or down the engine because they're a customer team. And we know that it is, even though Hülkenberg, for example, qualified third in the 70th anniversary Grand Prix, we saw Lance Stroll struggle a little bit. And we don't know how much of that was the Mercedes engine just overpowering everybody else, right? But beyond that, I just don't understand why this is even a thing, why they should even care, because even during the race, drivers, they turn up their engines to overtake, which is part of the energy recovery system. They turn it down to save oil, to save battery. I just don't understand. Like, if it's supposed to be Formula One and you design based to a formula, why are we limiting things all of a sudden?
Yeah, and Bottas even said that the effect that this could have, especially during a race, would be that you will see less overtakes, because a lot of the drivers deploy that extra power, especially when they have a good chance to overtake. But although I do agree with you, yes, if we're driving to a formula, everybody should be able to do whatever they can do within that formula. However, F1 and the FIA is very cognizant of how this looks to a regular fan who just switches on the TV and sees just one car winning all the time. So what I think this will do is that it will, not so much during the race, but during qualifying, it will bring the pack a little bit closer together. And we all know that qualifying is important, because if you qualify higher up, you're able to run higher up in the order during the race, and then you can make some overtakes. I think it'll be interesting to see how close Red Bull can get to the Mercedes now. If you have Verstappen qualifying in second, or even a chance to take pole, if he gets out in front during the race, if he can keep that lead without having that Mercedes with so much extra power, because we all know that if you're in front, you have clean air. You can literally take off, get a 3, 4, 5. I mean, in some cases, you have Hamilton taking 20, 30-second leads. What you want to do is bring that field a little bit closer. And if you can do that going forward, subsequently in the next seasons going on, that'll be cool. So everybody can, so if you qualify, that's what you're going to run in the race.
So are we heading towards a spec series thing? Because Indy has it that you have...
it's not a spec series, because you're still building.
But I'm saying, are we heading towards that way?
No, it's not. It's not that, because you're still building your own engine.
No, because in Indy it's control.
It's also
the extra power.
Yeah, absolutely. But you're still building to a formula. If you have a better engine, it's like you said, I don't think it'll affect Mercedes that much, because their engine is by far better than anybody else.
Steroids.
Their car, not just their engine, because other teams have their engine. Yeah. And they dominate the field.
Yeah, but if you build that engine to spec, and if you're better, then you deserve to be better. But what we're trying to say is that if you have this extra party mode that's going to allow you to blow out the field, there's no competition. And what do we watch F1 for? We watch it for. We get so happy when there's a race where people are actually trying to overtake each other and have a chance to win the race. We get so happy, but we barely get to see that.
It happened to us in this past race.
There you go. And yeah, but look at the other races that we get so, like Brazil last year was crazy, but it had to be some crazy things happening. Yeah. The rain or the tires blowing. Like, can we get a good race without something odd happening in the race? That's the whole key.
So my whole thing is that even if you take that away, you're still trying to really penalize one team. You're saying, okay, the team is so far ahead that I'm going to take this advantage away that they've built. And it's not, it's a team organizational thing too. So then do we want to say, okay, we want to take it away because we want better racing? You know what everybody was talking about at the beginning of the season was Last Blando turning up his engine, going crazy when he really needed the boost at the end of a race. That was very exciting, and it's something that we talked about. We still talk about it.
But isn't that just energy deployment?
That's energy deployment and turning up your engine just like you would in qualifying mode. Yeah. I don't know.
So much as his engineers, I kept telling him over the radio, mode this, mode that, do this.
Right, scenario 7 or...
I think if you start up higher, you have a better chance of getting a better result. And we want more teams getting a better result. It is what it is. You race to the formula. They're just building a technical directive just the same way. Technically, Ferrari wasn't doing anything wrong because they built around the fuel flow meter. They discovered that, and now they're down almost 100 horsepower. That's what happens. You do and they're suffering the consequences for that. It's a technical directive. Let it play out. Let's see what happens. Let's have some fun and see what happens.
I think it's going to be less fun, but okay, we can agree to.
We will see.
No, we have to wait till it develops to see which way it affects or where it's going to affect.
I don't think it's going to affect so much this year. I think it's just the years going on, especially maybe they'll grandfather it into the new formula when they finally do sign the Concord Agreement whenever they want to.
Hey guys, this is Wellington, 1/3 of the Jump to Start Racing podcast crew. I want to remind you to destroy that like button for the YouTube algorithm and to hit subscribe so you can stay up to date with our latest content. I also want to let you know that we're active on both Twitter and Instagram. For both platforms, the handle is @JumpTheStartF1. And of course, you can find us on your favorite podcast platform, Jump to Start Racing Podcast. Thanks for tuning in.